Hello, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to day 12 of our self-love challenge. Today I'm going to be diving more into beliefs. We're moving kind of away from the core beliefs, which were I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I don't matter. Those are very foundational and important to look at. However, there are many other beliefs that affect our reality. The beliefs that we have about other people and the world around us and how it works. So another little nugget of information that I got at a Subway convention many years ago that kind of shifted my perception on things was expectations minus reality equals happiness. And whenever I gained this nugget of knowledge, I was in a place where I was always expecting the best. You could call me an optimist, right? And because of that, I was feeling let down a lot, not a lot of joy in my life because I was expecting something to be great, and then it could never really meet my expectation. So even if it was good, it wasn't as high as my expectation, there was some tension inside of me. So after hearing that nugget of information, I completely switched, totally pendulum swing into having no expectations. Expecting the worst. Like if you expect the worst and anything is better than that, then you're great, you're happy, right? But that doesn't really work either, because whenever you're expecting the worst, it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing. The worst happens, and then, who wants the worst? Like that doesn't bring joy either. So what I've really learned in the last couple years is becoming more present. And it's not about expecting it to be really good or really bad. It's about accepting whatever is, right? And really just accepting it. Accepting that whatever happens, happens. And if you are acceptant of the present moment, then you are in the now. You're not worrying about how it could have been or like how bad it was. You're just here and like taking it in as it comes, right? So the idea here is your expectations of something are kind of tied to your beliefs. Let me give you an example. If you grew up hearing that money is the root of all evil, that then kind of goes into an expectation in your brain that if people have money, then they're going to be evil. So that's kind of how beliefs are tied into our expectations. Now, when you come into money, you're expecting yourself to be evil, right? And deep down, you probably know that you're not evil. Or maybe because you got the money, you decide to be evil because that's the belief that's running. I'm not sure which way that would go, but either which way, if you hold that belief, money is the root of all evil, and then you come into money, you may find yourself feeling like you're evil, like you don't deserve it, or that you have to go be evil to make this belief true. And that's really where we can get into trouble whenever we let these beliefs that we've been told by society, our parents, friends, TV, songs. So what we really want to do is figure out which of these beliefs are limiting us, right? So money being the root of all evil really limits you for making money. If that's something that, you want, like most of us do. We want money, we want freedom, we want to be able to take care of people, right? And how does that make us evil? So becoming aware of these subtle little beliefs and then asking, where did I pick this up from? And did that person or thing absolutely know? Or are they just projecting their belief system onto you? That probably came from somebody else. And then we can start to look for proof of the opposite, to rewire in a new belief. So like, have you ever met somebody who has money who is not evil? The problem with these beliefs too is that it may have you like judging people who have money. You know, just because they have money, that means they're evil. That may not be true. So you may be cutting yourself off from a lot of experiences, you know. There's several of these. No pain, no gain. Money doesn't grow on trees. Like, don't burn bridges. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know, like all of these sayings that we repeat in our minds over and over again can keep us trapped in a box. It's very extreme. Like, the grass is never greener on the other side. Have you ever been on dead grass and then went to grass that is greener? Like, it's not about if it's greener over here or greener over there. It's green where you water it, right? So a lot of these beliefs are kind of misguided anyway. Burning bridges. Sometimes it's good to burn a bridge. You know, if the person or situation is like causing you a lot of stress, anxiety, burn that bridge. You know, like, don't stay loyal to something that is taking your peace. So really what it's about, your expectations, is letting go of the outcome. So you can expect something to go well, you can expect something to go bad. The real key to happiness here is to accept it for however it is, and knowing that it's like working out for you. Even if it doesn't look like it, everything is always working out for you. So letting go of the outcome. The outcome you may have envisioned may be different than the outcome that happens. So, you know, learning to just accept and appreciate what is. Being rooted in the now. Now, with that said, there's a few other little things that kind of go into rewiring our neural pathways. So one of the things is saying I have to do this versus I get to do this, right? So, and this changes the emotions in your body too. Like, I have to do laundry. It feels like, dread, you know, like, why do I have to do this? Whereas if you say, I get to do laundry, it's like, I get to do it because I have clothes to wash. I have the means to wash them in a machine instead of scrubbing them in the bathtub, you know? And that emotion is more like expansive and peaceful, right? I have to go to work. Ugh. I get to go to work. You know, I get to go. Many people can't, you know? So you get to do it. And that way it kind of changes it from something that's being forced on you to something that you're choosing to do. That's very powerful. I've made a lot of progress with that one because I don't like to be controlled. So having to do things doesn't really work for me. I have to convince myself. See, I get to convince myself that I get to do the things, not have to. Another really big one that can trigger you to be like, hey, is this belief really coming from me or did this come from somewhere else? Is should. When somebody says you should do this, you shouldn't do that, or you're saying you should do this, maybe even to yourself, that should be like a little flag going off. Like, where did this thing that I should be doing come from? Normally it means that you don't really want to be doing it. It's just something you feel like you have to do for whatever reason. And a lot of these things, maybe you do have to do, but then it shouldn't be should, it should be must. I must do this. But if you can pay more attention to people shoulding on you, and you shoulding on yourself, and you shoulding on other people, it really illuminates some beliefs that may or may not be relevant for you anymore. These beliefs, they put you in a box, right? Like with the money one. If you think that money doesn't grow on trees and money's the root of all evil, like, you're in this box where you can't, like, you see everybody who has money as evil, even though not everybody who has money is evil, right? It also limits you from becoming somebody that has money because your belief system doesn't want to believe that you're evil, right? So the key is bringing awareness to the belief, and then we expose the opposite to it. That RAS, reticular activating system. If you tell it over and over and over again that money is the root of all evil, then it is going to bring to you and let in your awareness people with money that are evil. If you say, hey, I don't really want to believe that anymore, and then just like we looked at hearts the other day, you say, I would like to see people with money doing great things, then you'll start to see that in your reality, and that's how the neural pathways get rewired, is by showing yourself proof, and this is how we get out and do things. Like, let's say you want to write a book and you don't really know anybody who's written books. So you're like, it's really hard, it's hard to write a book. It's hard to get published. It's hard to sell a book. What you could do is start maybe watching documentaries on authors, or, going to a book signing and meeting an author that is successful. Like, you want to start letting in opposing beliefs. And it's so crazy how fast it happens. Like, all these people show up and you're like, wow, like, there's so many infinite realities playing out at any given time, but our reticular activating system keeps what we see based on our beliefs. That's what we see. So to bring awareness to the beliefs we no longer want to be limited by, and then looking for, opposing belief systems, looking for people who have money, who are distributing it appropriately and are not evil, they're just not. Like, yes, there are some people with money that are evil. I don't even want to get into that. Remember, I like utopias. So, yeah, like, these beliefs drive how we show up in the world, how we allow ourselves to show up in the world. So pay attention to when you're saying, I have to do this. Try and flip it. I get to. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. Should be like a little red flag in your head. Looking under that, what is the belief that I think somebody else should have to do this, right? Should get to do this. See, I'm still working on it too. But yeah, you find these beliefs, become aware. Awareness is the hardest part because we're just on an autopilot. That's where quieting down and just watching, observing what's going on, like you're looking at yourself from above, right? And just noticing what's going on. So in today's challenge, what I want you to do is just pay attention. How many times are you saying, I have to do this? And then can you switch it to I get to? And how does that feel in your body? How many times are you getting shit on? Why? What is the belief under that? Do you want to continue with that belief, that expectation of reality? Or do you want to let go of the outcome and just be? You know? I'll see you guys tomorrow.